Guys, it's Blackwing 2040. Welcome back to the Power Rangers Marathon. First off, I apologize for the long delay of these Ranger reviews. It's been hectic during this pandemic, but with all that being said, let's jump right into it. For this season's Ranger review is Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Of course, we're still in the midst of the GOAT era of Power Rangers, and this is, of course, the beginning of the Post Zordon era. Now, with Lost Galaxy, we are also still in space. We kind of start off on Earth, but make our way into space. So, Lost Galaxy's I would say its story is broken down to three bite-sized chunks. First arc, we begin on Earth. Everyone in, we could say Angel Grove, but the city is not mentioned. But let's just, for this point, let's say Angel Grove. Certain people are chosen to head on to the space colony of Terra Venture in search of a new world. And we open up with our future Red Ranger, Leo Corbett, who isn't chosen, so he stowaways onto a space shuttle onto the space colony. We also meet Kai and Kendrix, our future Blue and Pink Ranger, and Mike, Leo's brother, Mike Corbett. And Mike doesn't want Leo on board because he wanted him to stay on Earth. And on the distant part of the galaxy, on the planet Marinoi, we meet Maya, our future Yellow Ranger, who is being told about the Quasar Sabers, legendary swords that were used by great warriors. Suddenly, the planet Marinoi is under attack by Scorpius and his General Furio. So, Furio is also in search of the Quasar Sabers for Scorpius, but Maya is able to escape through a portal onto a training session in Terra Venture. So Mike, Kendrix, and Mike, Kendrix, Leo, and Maya head back into Marinoi to help everybody out, while Kai searches for a way to get to Marinoi. And funny enough, he stumbles across the Astro Megaship, which now is used as a tourist attraction. And the head mechanic of the ship is Damon Henderson, our future Green Ranger. So Damon knows the ship inside and out, and he's able to start the ship up, fly it all the way to Marinoi, and help out the others. They're able to pull the Quasar Sabers out, except for Leo. The only people who are able to pull it out are Mike, Kendrix, Damon, Kai, and Maya. But since they got their hands on the Quasar Sabers, Furio decides to turn everyone on Marinoi to stone, and also opens a crevice which Mike falls into. So Mike gives Leo the saber to continue on for him, and so Leo takes it and vows to not let Mike's death be in vain. So the five morph and they become the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. So as their Ranger journey begins, they get new Zords called Galactabeasts, sentient galactic creatures, and they also, of course, come across the Magna Defender. Now, the Magna Defender has a hard grudge against Scorpius because Scorpius killed his son, Zika. But there's a certain mystery with the Magna Defender. We learn that the Magna Defender is actually a host body. Well, Mike is a host body for the Magna Defender, and Mike has tried many times to say yo, you don't want to get revenge on Scorpius for killing your son. Revenge is not the way. And even the Rangers have tried many times to tell him revenge is not the way. And this also comes into a clash with the Rangers when they search for a new power source called the Lights of Orion, which give the Rangers a battle armor-esque, it's a power up, just a regular old power up. So the Rangers get the Lights of Orion. Of course, Scorpius continuously attacks Terra Venture until Magna Defender makes the ultimate sacrifice to save the entire space colony, which ends up killing him, but also frees Mike, and Mike and Lee are reunited. Plus, Magna Defender give Mike his powers. Mike becomes a new Magna Defender, and all is well in the world, right? But no, we're still going on, because now we're introduced to Deviat, who I would like to call the snake of this season, because every season tends to have that one snake of the show. So Deviat comes to Scorpius, tells him that he has control of three Galactabeasts, and so the Rangers don't want to. Well, the Rangers Galactic Beasts don't want to fight these lost creatures because they're their friends, and yet the Lost Galactic Beasts were able to override, Deviat's mind control. They joined the side of the Rangers, and Deviat still has another plan up its sleeve. So he tricks Scorpius into telling him that the Rangers have kidnapped Trakina. Scorpius searches for the Rangers. He fights the Rangers fight Scorpius, defeat him, and that's the end of Scorpius. Trakina, who kind of disappears because Scorpius tells I'm sorry. Trakina is also the daughter of Scorpius. Trakina is told by her father that he has the cocoon ready for her so that way she could begin her full transformation to a bug, but she chooses not to because she wants to stay in her beautiful self. But she runs into Villamax and Kegler, who teach her how to fight, and once she gets news that the Rangers destroyed her father, she is hell-bent on destroying the Rangers, especially Leo. She has a hard out for Leo. So now with the second arc, the Rangers constantly come into blows with Trakina, but also we get one of the coolest team-ups ever with the Space Rangers. The Psycho Rangers end up coming back, and the Space Rangers and the Galaxy Rangers team up to destroy the Psycho Rangers. All a win-win, but not really, because Psycho Pink ends up surviving, and she continues her programming, which is to kill the Pink Ranger, which is basically Cassie at this point. So she does end up kind of absorbing Cassie's powers using a weapon called the Savage Sword, which gets stronger after each strike. Both Ranger teams defeat Psycho Pink, but Kendrix sacrifices herself to destroy the Savage Sword to save Cassie, which costs her life. And this season is prominent for, the death of a Ranger. Heck, this season is prominent for a lot of deaths, because sacrifice is the main theme of the season. From Magna Defender sacrificing himself, Kendrick sacrificing herself, and Mike, who does the sacrifice later on in the season. And of course, that's the main theme of the season. Now, we also get reintroduced to Corone, who we last saw at the end of In Space. She is disguising herself as Astronema to retrieve the pink Quasar Saber. And Corone's spirit, well, not Corone's spirit, Kendrick's spirit comes to Corone and grants her the power of the Pink Ranger. So Corone is the current Pink Ranger of the team that takes Kendrick's place, and she's a very, very powerful member of the team. Later on in the show, the Rangers are transported into the Lost Galaxy, and they find a villain named Captain Mutiny who's holding people as slaves. So the Rangers, release the slaves. They somewhat defeat Captain Mutiny, and as they're trying to escape the Lost Galaxy, Mike sacrifices all of his power to keep the portal open so the entire space colony can escape. And Mike ends up losing his powers, and Mike really doesn't do anything from this point on, sadly. So after they escape the Lost Galaxy, Captain Mutiny is actually right behind him. Trakina destroys Captain Mutiny because she wants the Rangers all to herself. And so she comes and realizes that Deviat has been playing traitor all along, and both of them get pushed into the cocoon, but Trakina is the only one that steps out. She basically has Deviat's blaster arm, but has his sadistic mindset, and she goes on a full-out assault on Terra Venture. She starts stripping her foot soldiers, the Stingwingers, with bombs. They start destroying Terra Venture. They destroy the Megazords, except for the main one. But the other two Megazords, those are blown to bits. So, in the new world that Terra Venture ends up finding, they don't know what this new world is, but all the citizens of Terra Venture have to evacuate. Leo stays behind to see if he can find any survivors, but he come across Trakina, who's now in her full insect form after she walked into the cocoon. And Leo is struggling for his life. Luckily, his other Rangers come to his aid. They use every weapon in their arsenal to take down Trakina, but it isn't enough. So Leo uses his battleizer and shoots Trakina at point-blank range, and she's destroyed, or so we think. And Leo comes out of the rubble, broken helmet, but survives. And oh my god, I can't wait to tell you why I love Leo so much when I talk about characters. So it turns out the new world that they land on is actually the planet Marinoid. So they place the Quasar Sabers back in the stone. They the stone that the Quasar Sabers were put in releases everybody from the people of Marinoid from their stone prison, and Kendricks comes surprisingly, I don't know how, comes back, and she thanks Corone for taking her place, and they all celebrate. And that's the end of the story. It's just a story full of thrills and chills of action, adventure, and of course, sacrifice is the main thing of the story. So let's talk about characters. First off, Leo. Leo is what you call an underdog. He's like the person at the wrong place at the wrong time. And Leo, of course, he never was supposed to be the Red Ranger. And he ends up becoming the Red Ranger by coincidence because Mike told him to, go on for him. So he had no choice. And Leo does the most craziest things, defeating Trakina at point blank range. Of course, there's a moment in the show where he faces off Trakina, rip, sherp, and all. It's cool, crazy, but cool at the same time. And he's just a force to be reckoned with. He's always determined to do the right thing. Leo basically, I would say he's like the Spider-Man of the Power Rangers universe. He always stands up for the little guy. Now next, Damon. First off, Damon is one of my favorite Green Rangers because one, first brother in green. Second of all, head mechanic of Terra Venture. I'm telling you, this guy does so much for Terra Venture that it goes unnoticed. I'm telling you. You don't hear a lot of people talk about Damon. Damon is very unappreciated, very underused, and very known to a little bit. But me, I'm a full-on Damon supporter. I love this guy. One, because he's green, and two, because he's black. Damon is the GOAT, alright? Damon is the GOAT. That's all I'm going to say. I just love his character so much. Next is Kai. Originally, I felt that Kai didn't really do much, but he does have a fair share of focus episodes. He does feel a little bit uneasy with Leo being the Red Ranger, but he starts to grow into, you know what? You're a good guy. And he's also willing to, step up when Leo's not around. So, Kai, it's not that Kai doesn't have much. He's more in the range of between like a cool Blue Ranger to like being okay. He's like an in-between of those two. Next is Maya. Maya, of course, I always thought Maya was like the jungle girl. Well, she kind of is. And she doesn't really get much focus episodes either. But she's basically the fish out of water. She's, she comes from another planet. She's, on Terra Venture. It's a new world for her. She doesn't know. She's a fish out of water in this moment. But when it comes to, protecting Terra Venture, she's down hard, ready to do whatever it takes. Next is Kendricks. Kendricks is very special. Many things. Because throughout the show, they were hinting many times to make Kendricks and Leo a couple. Many times, and you can see it. But sadly, one of the reasons why Kendricks got killed off is the actress Valerie Vernon was diagnosed with leukemia. Thank God she's cured. Thank God. So she's special because for, that case, of her being the one ranger to get killed, but surprisingly comes back by some unknown reason, but she came back. But Kendricks, she's a really, really great Pink Ranger. I really wish that, they kind of delve deeper. Just a little bit. I kind of wish that they delved deeper into the reason of why Leo and Kendricks could have became a couple. But, of course, that's a something that they just swept right under the rug. Now, Corone, of course, she's definitely a person that's making a big redemption comeback. This whole season is a big redemption arc for her. Having been going from straight up main villain in space to now being a full on ranger in Lost Galaxy, Corone takes everything that she's done as astronomer. She regrets it because it wasn't her. And even in an episode where she had to face her past self, she feels like, I can't do this. This isn't me. Because she knows how much damage she's done that it scars her. Like she was robbed of her entire childhood. She was kidnapped and she never got to experience everything that she ever wanted to do from when she was a child to the age that she is now. But now that she's able to become a ranger and, full on redeem herself for her past sins, it's just the perfect redemption arc for her. And that's why Corona's actually definitely she's a straight up awesome Pink Ranger in my book. Now, Mike, I can't really say much about Mike because Mike is barely around. Besides being, Leo's brother and, of course, being the second Magna Defender, he doesn't really do much. And that's what kind of hurts his character a bit. Now, the original Magna Defender, of course, goes from a formidable warrior who's honorable in some cases, but sometimes lets his goals get in his way too much. From having to, somewhat help the Rangers and then having an agenda of his own, it becomes shown that, hey, I walk alone, alright? I have my own reasons of taking on Scorpius, alright? I'm not here to help you guys. I got my own things to take care of. But slowly realizing, and realizing, hey, revenge isn't the way. Maybe I shouldn't do this. You Rangers are right. Let me help you. So, I would say Magna Defender is way better than Mike, in my opinion. As for, Ranger, allies throughout the show, I mean, Bulk is in the show, but he's only in the show for, 6 episodes. Along with Professor Phenomenus, because they're chosen to go to Terra Venture. They forget Skull at home. They straight up leave Skull, they forget him. And Bulk and the Professor end up working in the cafe of Terra Venture. That's it. They don't do anything. They really don't do anything. I also had Commander Stanton down, but he's just the commander of the space colony. He doesn't really do much of anything either. Now, villains. Let's talk about Trakina. Trakina is a force to be reckoned with. In the beginning, she's, of course, snobbish, brattish. She doesn't really care. She doesn't like getting her hands dirty. But after the Rangers took down Scorpius, she was ready to put that work in to take down the Rangers any means necessary. She was fierce. She was deadly. She was scary, if I would say. Because around that finale, when, her and Deviant kind of fused, she was terrifying. You did not want to be under her boot at all. Scorpius, like I said, he was the main villain of the show until the Rangers defeated him. And of course, this is another thing. Scorpius is another original villain for Lost Galaxy, for the franchise. So that just popped into my head. But I can't really, I can't really say much about Scorpius. He's just, your regular old main villain, main bad guy, and who doesn't really do much of anything until, his time comes in the show where he has to get, killed off. That's it. Furio, again, another general that I feel kind of is just, just there. He does what he's told. He doesn't, he's just the stereotypical general. He does what he's told. If he doesn't do what he's told, he's going to get the boot and everything, so on and so forth. And then he ends up, self-destruct. He really straight up commits suicide by trying to destroy Leo to find the lights of Orion. And then that's it. They don't mention... After he, self-destructs, he's never mentioned again. So, I can't really say anything good about Furio. Next, we have Deviant, the snake of the show. I kid you not, if Deviant and Darkonda ever join forces, I feel like Deviant will be the one to come out on top, because Deviant, he's very calculating. I know Darkonda, with him, he had like multiple lives, but Deviant, he knows when, his fish is cooked. He knows, trust me. But Deviant will straight up betray Darkonda at the drop of a dime, hands down. It's like it comes down to like who would betray who first, and I would say Deviant will betray Darkonda first, definitely. Next, we have Villamax. He's more of the honorable person, and of course the one person that taught Drakena how to fight. I always loved honorable villains, who go by a code, because in the final arc, when he helps a little girl find her mother, and he straight up tells Drakena, like, no, I won't let you destroy millions of people. And then Drakena just straight up kills him. And his final words were like, you learned nothing that I taught you. I was like, oh, snaps. That's why I always, like, him and Ecliptor will definitely get along just fine. I just love honorable generals, or honorable villains, period. That they're just like the best kind of villains to see. Like, they work by a code, they do what they're told, but when it comes down to certain things, and they don't do them, and sometimes it does affect their character to being, killed or being left alive, Villamax straight up fits that description. Alright, next we have Kegler. He's basically like the bumbling general of the show, but he doesn't really do anything either. And the last general to talk about is, well, not general, other villain of the show, Captain Mutiny. He's, I would say, a side villain who's basically mainly used only in the Lost Galaxy arc, because for those who don't know, Captain Mutiny's Sentai counterpart is the main villain in Gingaman. So to have this show kind of technically had like 3 main villains: Scorpius, Drakena, and Captain Mutiny. So I give them props of having to like interchange which villain they're facing as the show continued. And as far as battleizer usage, Leah only uses battleizers like 4 times in the show. That's about it. But in total, this show is wild. I've only watched Lost Galaxy from beginning to end like twice. I've only watched it twice. Of course, I've seen the reruns of it back in the day. But Lost Galaxy is just a gripping story with so many head-on. It's a space opera, of course, because they're in space, and it's just so heartfelt with drama and so much conflict within the villain side that it's just wow. And if I were to give my rating for it, it's definitely in the GOAT. It's definitely a GOAT season. Lost Galaxy definitely is a GOAT season, because granted, not everyone gets, like development, but there's so many things about the characters that I do admire. It's still, and of course, hands down has one of the best team-ups, has the biggest number of deaths in the franchise, if I might add. It's just up there as one of the greatest Ranger seasons ever. So that's my review of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. In the comment section below, tell me what was your favorite things about Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, your favorite episodes, who were your favorite Rangers, what were your likes and your dislikes, and be civil about that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell to be notified of whenever I do another Ranger review, another video, or live stream. So I thank you guys so much for watching. So keep you guys updated and stay tuned for the next Ranger season, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. And if you think Lost Galaxy was crazy, boy, the conflict and the villains in Lost Lightspeed Rescue is way different. So hope you guys look forward to that. And as always, I am Vengeance, I am Darkness, I am Blackling. Stay golden, and may the power protect you.